everything around it. We should call you in. We should call you in. Cause baby you win. Baby you a winner. Call you winner. Winner. Call you winner. Call you winner.
You've been in the dance industry, and for myself being in the industry for my little time, you know, I can say that like I have a little problem, you know, and I think this is also a problem that other dancers may have, you know, which is the financial returns versus the work, the effort that you put in, because it's not only just you just moving, that you physically moving your body for 45 minutes. It's your creativity that is going in with, like, you know, the creative direction. Okay, you have to do this, you have to do this, come up with the choreo and all of that. But what advice could you give to like dancers that are coming up, you know, with how can we change that financial return? You know, has that also been a battle you guys were fighting?
Oh yeah, we fought this for the longest of time. The longest of time. Okay, so I'm from a time, and I know it still exists now, where the psyche, the fault has been on two sides, okay?
Right.
I'll say the fault has been, one, on the dancer side, for not taking themselves seriously enough to treat themselves as a business, not just random entertainment or an added extra to a set. You yourself are an artist, and you need to treat yourself
like an artist.
And artists take themselves very seriously and treat themselves as businesses. And once you understand that you're a business, you'll understand that there's many things that need to be respected, right? And people can't treat you as a business, or corporate, or whoever's booking you and hiring you can't pay you accordingly because they don't think you're a business.
Yeah.
Because you don't treat yourself, neither do you approach, you don't engage like a business.
Yeah.
But I don't want to make it people's fault because there isn't a lot of education around it. People aren't afforded a lot of insight or knowledge in how to do this and how to approach relationships. And it's so tough because, you know, I guess we also come from a time where we're also trying to convince our parents that dance is not a hobby.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle, but it's also a career option.
Yeah.
And I guess, unfortunately, there haven't been enough examples for our parents to buy into.
True.
For people to take dance seriously as a career.
Yeah.
You know? I know in my time, the only people I could look to were Somizi, in the world of dance, Nosha Kupa, who else? In the world of theatre, I absolutely adore, still do, Greg Makama, Lulu Mlangeni, but these are people who've had to carve their own path. The boom shackers as well, but like Teddy said, more specifically. These are people who all had to branch out into other things, but whose core is dance.
Yeah.
You know? But these are at least 4 or 5 people I've had to mention. In a booming industry, you have too many examples, and you don't have to convince anyone that dance is an industry. We're still trying to convince people today that dance is an industry.
Yeah.
You know? And so artists who've worked with dancers, they've tried to, many times and still do, try not to pay dancers, you know, because they don't think, you know what it is though?
What is it?
It's like, it's the curse of a dancer. The curse is, you know how much work you put in, but when you perform, you make it look easy. So it doesn't look like there's any work going on.
Do
you understand what I'm saying?
Is
perception, and it's such a faulty perception. Like, it's just, you know, that's why at a time I didn't even like the term majaiva, because like hype majaiva.
It's just it's make it sound so.
But in the world of dance, the only dancers that were respected were those who had studied. So if you did your contemporary or jazz or your ballet, so these are Western styles of dance. Only those were deemed as respectable
and
or
professional.
Oh, professional.
Yeah.
You are a choreographer. But if you're a self-taught performer like myself, who's a street dancer, who learned from their peers or learned along the way, who doesn't have a certificate to prove that I'm brilliant, or that I'm experienced, or that I know what I'm talking about. So dancers still to this day, one, need to understand that they are a business. They're not just like added entertainment, and they are artists. But also dancers today live in a very fortunate time. And when I say fortunate, I mean social media is your friend.
Fully.
And through social media, people are able to secure jobs, feed their families, work with the brands that they've been wanting to work with for the longest time, collaborate with people, create relationships, and create a brand, you know. And I guess that's like now the job of a dancer. You're not just a dancer now. Now there's a brand and there's a face and there's some sort of representation. So take that seriously. Don't take your social media page
as
for
Justin
granted.
J.
As
It's your new CV.
I swear to
Literally.
you, it is your new CV. At this stage of the game, I couldn't be bothered with what you show me on paper. If you're going to secure a job, the likelihood is they're going to ask what your handle is, what's your Instagram handle, what's your TikTok, what's your whatever social media platforms, because they want to see what videos you posted up.
Yep.
That is your CV.
Fully.
Like, that's where we're at now.
So be careful of what you post.
Yeah, be mindful of what you post.
Yeah.
But like, take yourself seriously. So really take advantage of your social media. That's what I've done. That's what I've completely maxed out on. I'm not even gonna lie to you. So even in the pandemic, social media held me down. For real, for real. And I guess people just need to evolve, you know? For those who are from the time in the era where they weren't about it, you really kind of had to adapt to the changing environment. And the world is changing. The pace of the world is changing.
Rapidly
the palette
so.
and the taste of the world is changing. Dance itself is changing. We have a huge movement and a huge culture of Amapiano, which is all-encompassing, all-embracing, and anyone and everyone can do it.
Yeah.
But also, the challenge now is differentiating those who do it professionally and seriously, and to those who do it recreationally and can still make money. You know, I know it's a tough one for people who are learned and people who have studied dance. Like it's heartbreaking for them because they feel like, you know, the dignity of dance
It's
is
just
being
being,
lost.
I get you.
And I totally get it, but dance is doing what its sole purpose is about. Dance is about expression. Dance is about being and living and giving and having and saying without saying anything. That's what dance is. And many voices can speak at one time in the most elevating way, in a time when the world is so dark and so bleak. And here's this genre of music, to me, that is spiritually like, it is vibrating on a frequency that is unbelievable, but it makes so many people happy. How can we be mad at that, you know? But also, don't disrespect dance. It's like really as simple as that. But dance, please take yourself seriously. Also, you know what's also been hard about me, when Wicca secures a job, and I need to get dancers, I'm gonna make sure that they are paid what I know they are worth. Because I understand what dancers are putting into creating something that looks easy or super enjoyable on the other side when people perform. But the preparation, there's so much preparation that goes into it. The hours, the creativity. You're putting your body at risk. Like, to have your body insured, I don't even know if people can do that.
We don't.
But
as dancers, nope.
Right?
Only athletes.
Exactly. Dancers can't afford medical aid. Also, truth of the matter is, I feel like dance will only be understood and respected as a craft or as a sport when people treat it as a sport. Because that's what dance is. Yes, not only are we, and I say this all the time, dancers are like the athletes of God. Like,
Only
God, but we're sportsmen.
Yeah.
You know, and so dancers need to understand that. Put in the time, put in the hours, honor your gift, honor your craft. It's amazing that you are naturally talented at this thing. But also, because you're naturally talented at this thing, or because you're learning for the first time, exploit that. Learn. Don't be afraid to look like an idiot. You're always a student. To this day, I'm still a student of the game. It's like, period. I'm still a student. It doesn't matter how much time I put into this thing, but I still put in my time and I still put in my hours. And I'm still learning all the time. Versatility is your friend. Please learn as many things as possible. Please learn as many styles as possible. Like, it's great that I'm a pianist vibe, but it's not the only one.
Yeah.
And why I've been able to sustain myself for so many years is because I've been able to adapt every single time. Because versatility is your friend. And if you are stuck in one box, in one shell, in one genre, it's gonna be tough.
Shivers. But I really just like the fact that you highlighted that we need to take ourselves seriously.
For real, dog.
You know, like it really has to be a thing, and it has to be as a collective. You know,
Definitely.
One thing that I think also slows us down into actually changing that is because let's say for instance, the Thaba Nyaba Show comes and says, okay, we need 3 promoters.
Yeah.
You know, I only have 5K for dancers.
Yeah.
And then you'll find people that will take that 5K, you know, because it's like, man, I have to do it. But if it's like, if there's a union that's like, no, minimal of paying a dancer is this much, and nobody takes that until it's actually set to that bar, I think that we can achieve something with that.
Yeah, we need a union for sure. We need a union. We need to set the rules of engagement or a constitution or something for the world of dance so that we know what minimum pay is. Because it becomes really hard when you know that you are worth, say for instance, 10,000 rand for something, right? But if there is a dancer, or if there is an artist or a corporate that says, yeah, Heidi, I only have 500 bucks and food. Because dancers are living from hand to mouth, someone is gonna have to take it. And corporate artists will be happy to give it to that person. Yes, they may not be happy with the standard and the level of the dance, but for them it's just like, they just needed someone to dance, you know? But once we set the rules of engagement to say, once you enter the game, it's no less than X.
Yeah.
You can't pay me less than 5 rand. Like, it's like 5 rand is the minimum. And that's what it should be. And until we get there, it's gonna be tough. The tug of war, like, it doesn't end.
Yeah, and I also just like to touch on a point that you mentioned earlier, which is building your brand and stuff like that. I mean, I really want to understand how you went about building your solid brand with such like versatile things, you know, like you're great at acting, singing, and all those things, you know, and like and like your audience can sometimes get confused as to what you do. So how do you go about building such a solid all-round brand? You know, because even now, like nowadays, like kids are very versatile. Like you don't only just do one thing, you know. So it's like I'm also trying to figure out how do you balance everything, you know? Like how do you hold this, hold that, hold this, you know, and build that solid brand without confusing the audience?
Audiences are very interesting because if you understand the human dynamic, you know that a human being is not just one thing.
Yeah.
So their interests or their expression won't be in just one thing.
Okay.
And then when you enter the world of entertainment, you're very lucky if you can thrive and win in one thing. But if you're in South Africa, but I would imagine any other country in the world, you thriving off of just dance is like, it's tough, right? You thriving just off of radio, or you thriving just off of being an actor is a hard thing to do because the audience's perception is you're on TV, so you make a lot of money. But when you're inside the industry, you know that an actor gets a call rate. And a call rate is how much you're paid to come in for that day. And if you are on set for, say, 12 hours, and your call rate for that day is, say, 2,000 rand, that's all you get. There's no royalties, there's nothing. But millions of people have watched your show, they've watched you kill it, they've watched you perform and act your ass off, but all you took home is 2,000 rand. But the audience doesn't get that because to them, TV
is-
equals fame. Fame
Equals
equals
money.
And it's like, yeah, it's not really like that. You
Yeah.
know? So it's tough because that's what the audience expects, but I guess that's why so many people also want to get into the entertainment industry because that's what they think it is, right? And then at the same time, the audience can be very unforgiving when people do multiple things, but it's necessary. Outside of the financial reward of you doing many things, I guess just as a person, it would be a sin for you not to explore
Other
yourself
things,
and
yeah.
other things and your other interests. Simply because Mthabiseni from Haman's Kral said, no, you can't, that's all you must do. No!
But that's not all I can
That's
do.
all I do.
Yeah.
I actually can sing. I actually can act. And I can stand in front of an audience. I can be a life coach. I can be a motivational speaker. And I want to be a chef. I play chess really well too. You know what I'm saying? And we've got to let people do that. Just let people be, right? Now, in wanting to do all of these things, you've got to respect that each of these things they need time. Each of these things, you've got to, requires a level of dedication and a level of presence.
Yeah.
Sometimes that needs your focus exclusively to that. So, myself, it's not that I've been dancing this whole time, right? Yes, I have. It's been the most consistent thing. But there were times where I stopped dancing. Right? I kid you not. There were times where I stopped dancing because I wanted to focus on other things. But why I stopped dancing, quite honestly, I'll be real with you. When I stopped dancing, which was around 2016, 2017 or so, I stopped dancing because I hated the disrespect that dancers got and the dance culture. And it just felt like the entertainment industry and our peers didn't respect anyone who's in the world of dance. And I didn't like that. I hated it. I hated the fact that, you know, if you were a dancer, you weren't given a proper change room, you had to go to the toilet.
Oh yeah.
If you were a dancer, you know, but you're on the same stage as this artist who has this huge room and a railing of clothing and this thing, but you need to go to the toilet and then you may or you may not eat. And you're lucky if you get a bottle of water. It was just that constant level of disrespect that I hated. And also just like, peers in the industry were just like, oh, my child, like, okay, Shaq, whatever. You know, it's like, no, respect what I do. And so I hated it, and so I moved away from it. But moving away from it allowed me to focus on the other things that I wanted to do, which is hosting, being a television host and also acting. Also because those things take time. I mean, once you secure a job, for like 3 months, you need to be on set every day for 12 hours. When are you going to dance in that? You know? Me. When are you going to? It's not going to happen. And so, I encourage people exploring other talents and other things. Just be mindful of the fact that you're going to have to manage your time really well. If you're going to do multiple things at one time, you're going to have your time management on the rock. Like, because life will life still. You'll be late for something, you'll have obligations at home, you need to answer to your parents, and then if you've got a kid, you need to answer to your kid, and then there's school, there's studying, there's work. And then there's your passion and your goals and your dreams. All of this is a marriage of time management. How do you, like, what do you dedicate the hours of your day to?
I feel like that.
For real, girl. But you be okay with it. If you've got to stop dancing,
I gave it a break.
yeah, it's necessary. It's not to say that it leaves you. Because for me, I stopped and I was like, I'm done with this thing. And then dance was like,
My sister, come back.
I'm not finished.
I'm not finished. Come back.
Come back.
Yeah.
And yeah, and you anything that is for you will find you again. It's really as simple as that. You may divorce it at a time. It's a temporary separation. But at a point, you guys will reconnect all over again. And you'll pick up right where you left off. But you've got to understand that you've got to dedicate yourself and you've got to show up for whatever it is that you're trying to do. So if you're trying to be a soccer player, show up for that thing. And whatever that means, whatever dietary requirements, you know, you've got to show up for that. Whatever is needed for you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you've got to dedicate yourself to that.
Definitely.
And that's the only way you'll be able to max out all these other talents without cheating yourself, or at least giving yourself the opportunity to be good at it. That also means that if you explore something and you're not good, be okay to be objective, then separate yourself from yourself and be like, acting is actually not my thing. It's okay to try. It's okay to not be good. Because, you know, then you learn what's for you and what's not for you. And that's okay. That's really, but afford yourself that opportunity.
Yeah.
And if you're not good at something, don't persist.
It's not your calling.
It's not your calling. Be okay with things that are not your calling. But love the things that are your calling. Like, honor them. Don't waste time. Don't waste time. Be okay with not being good at something and getting good.
Yeah, I'm finished. That's me with singing. Girls are singing that. Just living.
Please not anything here.
I'm finished. But it's fine. I've made peace with it. So it's okay. Alright, so just in summary, right? What would you say are, in like your whole life, the 3 most important learnings that you'd like to share with us as the youth, just in general, or even from Entertainment Titan, you know, just 3 learnings that you've just gathered in your life and you're like, yo, I gotta leave these nuggets with you guys.
Simply put, 1, honor yourself. So to honor yourself is to honor your thoughts, honor your ideas, honor your feelings, honor your dreams, honor your goals. Anything that comes from you, anything that is of you is no mistake. And honor that. Honor how you feel about something. Because when you honor it, 1, you acknowledge something about yourself, because too many people neglect themselves. They neglect their own feelings, they neglect their own ideas because of either noise or other external factors or judgment, or they make judgments ahead of other people and other things, or they think on behalf of other people and immediately dismiss themselves and everything that they feel. And then people later on are mad or heartbroken because they didn't chase their dreams, they didn't do that thing. They get to 30, they get to 40, they're just like, shit, I didn't do that thing. Oh, I wish I sang. Oh, I wish I was brave enough. I wish I didn't think about what Tabi said from Haman's Grad.
Don't Tabi sang.
You know, there's so many people live in regret because they just didn't honor themselves. They didn't honor how they felt. They didn't honor that thing that was like, no, go cook. No, do this thing. Try this thing. Or, you know. So really honor how you feel, because then that allows you to also set the rules of what it is that you do, or what you like and what you don't like.
Yeah.
So that you don't land up in situations where you are compromising yourself or putting yourself in a compromising position, you know, because you don't know yet, or you're still trying to figure it out. Too many times I've done that as well, where it's just like, oh, I put myself in such an unfortunate position, because it's like, man, I didn't want that though. I didn't like it though. That thing didn't feel right. But because you want to make this person happy and you know. Yeah. So 1, really honor how you feel. Respect your own ideas, your own thoughts, because they really are valid. Like, They really, really are valid. So that's number one. 2, know what you're in it for. Okay, whatever it is that you choose to do, the core of that thing will sustain you. If you want to get into something because it's for the sake of money, it's frivolous. When money is not there, what's going to keep you there? When fame is not there, what's going to keep you there? What's your motive and what's your purpose behind what it is that you do? And if you are completely locked into that thing, then when other things try to get in your way, very little will deter you from moving away from your path or moving away from this thing that you want to do. So really understand what you're in it for, or rather just really find out what the purpose is behind something, and more likely than not, you are the vessel for something else. You're not great for yourself because God is like, you must be great. You're great because there's something about you doing this thing that does something for someone else. You never know who's watching. You never know who sees you. You never know who's inspired by you. You never know whose life you saved because you sang that song, or you wrote that song, or because you wrote that poem, someone read it and they decided not to commit suicide that day. It's stuff like that, where it's like, if you know what your purpose is and you're okay with it, even without the applause and the compliments, especially when there's no applause and compliments, your purpose will keep you there. Which leads me to the third thing. You've got to keep going. It's gonna suck. You're gonna cry. There's many days where you're gonna hate what you do. There's many days where you won't have answers, and it's not about having answers. People are gonna make you feel like you need to have the details and everything figured out. You don't have to have anything figured out. Everyone is doing this life thing for the first time. But, I mean, if you're thinking about it, if you're gonna have a spiritual conversation, we've all had thousands of lives before this. But if we're thinking about it now, in this lifetime right now, in 2022, we're all living this life for the first time. No one has it figured out. So it's okay for you to not have the answers. The point is, you need to keep going. Please don't stop. Don't stop. And I guess fourth gem, you've got to believe before anyone else does. No one's gonna buy into something that you don't even believe in, but you've got to believe that this is it, that you're fired.
I'm the dog.
You've got to believe. Yeah, you've really got to believe. And if you believe, you'll keep going. It'll push you.
Definitely.
And there'll be many days. There'll be more days when it sucks. But seasons are ever changing, Yeah. So great days and your rewards and the gifts of your labor, or the fruits of your labor, to show up at a point. And really then it makes it all worth it.
Yeah. Definitely. Thank you for that. Thank you so much.
Yeah?
We need all the knowledge.
That's all you need.
Thank you so much. So guys, literally what you gotta do is that you gotta believe in yourself. Mm-hmm. You gotta make sure, because I really, that's a journey that I'm actually embarking on, and I think Kanye's documentary, have you watched it?
Yes, I have.
That really genius. That really showed me if you believe in yourself, that could take you far. You don't actually need people. You don't need people to believe in you first. I mean, that does help in some instances, but the inner power is more stronger than anything.
Absolutely. I saw the other day, Russ was saying the worst advice he was given was to be realistic. And I agree. That is the worst advice to give someone. Don't be realistic.
Honestly.
Please be ambitious. Please be optimistic. Please think bigger and better than your immediate circumstances. Because sometimes or more often than not, especially black people are born into very limiting conditions.
Yeah.
And if you feel like your immediate surroundings are like the peak of where you can go and what it is that you can do and how big you can dream, too many people are going to be limited, and we have a dreamless generation, a goalless generation, and then we give birth to many generations who don't believe in anything. You know, so don't be realistic. It sucks.
Yeah. So honor yourself, you know what you're in it for, you know, believe in yourself, and
Keep going.
yeah, keep going. How can I push? Don't stop. Consistency is key. Yeah, I think that's really what kills people, like just in general, like being consistent. Like you don't know how far or how close you are to what you actually want to achieve. You know, just don't stop. Even if it's like you do 5 minutes of getting closer to your goal. You know, just one thing. One thing that I always do is that, like I always ask myself, like in the morning, I have like a mission list and stuff like that. So I plan out my day, and I always want to write down things things that answer the question of what did I do to get closer to my goal, you know. And there was this one time where I couldn't answer that, and I felt like it was just a wasted day. Like, how can I not do something that takes me to a place where I want to be, you know? So ever since then, it's like literally like, yo, make sure that you do something that gets you closer to your goal, even if it's just one thing, you know, but always work towards that. Like if you look at it as like seconds make minutes, minutes make hours, hours make a day, and then it carries on like that. So it's the small things that you do that inevitably build up into a bigger thing, you know. But yeah, thank you so much. You know, thank you for the wisdom that you shared with us, the insight. You know, I hope you guys learned something. I learned a lot. You know, I felt attacked, and I need to go home and fix myself. No, it's all good. It's all good. That's
I attacked myself. I want to remind it to myself too. So it's okay.
Yeah, but thank you so much for sharing, you know, your time and your knowledge and a piece of your mind and a piece of yourself. You know, I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. All right, I think that's the end, but that's not how we wanna. Do you wanna any last words? You good?
I'm good. I think I chatted enough. But look, massive love and respect to anyone and everyone in the dance community. I love what you do. I see what you do. Many of us are in this space to make sure that we leave it better than we found it whenever our time comes. But we see you. We love you. Please keep going. You make the world so happy. You make us so happy. And you heal many people without you realizing it. So, love you, dancers. And to everyone who loves dance, thanks.
Thank you, guys. All right, so we're not gonna just end it off.
Okay.
We're gonna just a little fun thing, you know, just
okay.
a little room. Let's see what you got. So what we're gonna do?
What? I'm stressed. What?
Maybe a little. I'm a bit stressed. Because I'm like, I don't even know how I'm going to do it, but it's my turn.
Okay.
But what we're going to do is that, just to add a bit of fun, you know, is that we're going to play 30 seconds, right? But it's not just 30 seconds, just in jail. It's not the normal one, you know? Since the dance is within the body, what you're going to have to do is that you're going to have to explain while dancing. My sister. You gotta keep.
Okay, wait. I'm explaining the clue
to me,
to you,
while you move your body.
Wait.
For 30 seconds, come on. 30 seconds, you put a 45-minute show. 30 seconds is nothing.
Let's see.
Okay, but you can't stop moving your body while you're explaiing.
Okay, let's go.
Nah? No music, it's just
yeah.
Nah?
Okay, yeah.
Alright, cool. Stop, let's go. Oh, get the cards. Oh, here we go.
Like right now?
Yes, like.
Okay,
like budget. Rock, paper, scissors. Oh, do you want to go first?
No.
Oh, of course I'm going to go.
Okay, let's make sure we're on the same page. Scissors?
Yes. Rock.
Paper?
Yeah. And it's not rock, paper, scissors, shoot. It's rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
Nah? Okay, cool. Ready? Okay, one, two. Rock, paper, scissors. Oh, we need a timer. Let me get a timer. I think we might need to stand up for this one.
I really can't believe that. Okay.
Okay, ready? Wait, I need to. Time. 30 seconds there. Starting in. Don't stop moving. Don't stop moving. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
USA is what?
A country. United States of America. America. Dance! What is that?
Oh no. Oh, I'm so bad. What's going on? No, this is bad. This is a bad. This is a bad. What do I say for Kate Hudson?
America is, you said America.
No, I said USA.
Oh, USA. Okay.
So at least we got America. That's what we got.
Okay, cool. Then we try.
Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Yes. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
It's that thing in.
Time.
Yes.
Asia.
No, China.
Yeah, one time.
Thank you. And then it's the liberated guy in America. He's the opposite of a queen.
The liberated guy in America.
Yes, the guy that's how bold.
Abraham Lincoln.
No, the other guy.
Which guy?
The guy. He said a speech. I have a dream. Yes. And then it's the country that you mentioned. That country.
America,
Yes.
America, what?
Yeah, American Express.
Oh, okay.
That's so bad.
Okay, that's fine.
One more round. Wait.
She wants to one.
Okay. 3 out of this time.
Okay.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, Jenny from the block.
Huh?
Jenny from the block.
Jenny from the.
Oh my gosh. Terrible. J-Lo. It's who?
Jennifer Lopez.
Thank you. Coco.
Chanel.
Thank you. James Bond. No, not James Bond.
007.
No.
Nice.
It's not James Bond. It's Mission Impossible.
Oh.
It's not James Bond.
Anna,
Is it James Bond?
Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, yeah.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say.
Okay. Nice, you got
3.
3. Hey, Tata, Kelly. Hey,
Okay, ready?
Okay. 1, 2, 3, go.
Let's go.
No, it's not. Can I change my color? Okay, opposite of a queen.
King.
Okay, article.
The king.
No.
The king.
Thank you. And then, this is the wheels, the car shop, the wheels.
What?
Not tiger. No, this is car.
Oh.
These are bicycles.
Nope. I know there's title.
It's a place in the east.
Michelin.
No, that one.
Oh.
Binui.
Nah.
This car is bad.
No, that was bad. Okay, I don't think we are. This is outside.
Alright, that's actually a wrap.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Please make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things that need to be done. Please follow her at whatever if you're not following her yet, which I'm sure is not possible, but hey. You can also follow me at the Thaba Nyaba Show.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? At Thaba Nyaba as a presenter. And thank you so much, guys. I love you guys. Stay blessed and let's go!
Girl, you got that fire, yeah. Don't let nobody everybody down.